President Trump, recounting his 90-minute meeting with Prince Charles, told Piers Morgan that he shares the prince's desire for good climate, but was skeptical of the science of climate change.
Do you personally believe in climate change?
I believe that there's a change in weather, and I think it changes both ways. Don't forget, it used to be called global warming. That wasn't working. Then it was called climate change. Now it's actually called extreme weather. Because with extreme weather, you can't miss. Look, we have a thing now in tornadoes. I don't remember tornadoes in the U.S. to the extent. But then when you look back, 40 years ago, we had the worst tornado binge that we've ever had. In the 1890s, we had our worst hurricanes, and I would say we've had some very bad hurricanes.
Were you able to give Prince Charles any comfort that you, as the United States president, are taking this seriously?
I think I was, yeah. I think we had a great conversation, and it was about, as you would call it, climate change.
Well, Piers Morgan also asked if Prince Charles himself, was successful in any way in convincing Trump.
Has he moved you a little bit?
I'll tell you what moved me is his passion for future generations. He's really not doing this for him. He's doing this for future generations. He really felt, and this is real. He believes that. He wants to have a world that's good for future generations.
You want that?
And I do too.
For more, I'm joined by Bill Nye, of course, the science guy and the host of the Science Rules podcast. Bill, thank you for joining us tonight. One thing I have to ask you about. It sounds like Trump, who does no homework, who has no sense of history, I don't think he took a single science or humanities course in college, come up with this thing about tornadoes 90 years ago. Somebody's feeding him this crap. Somebody's giving him an arsenal of BS to challenge science.
Yes, you call it cherry picking the data. It's a very common thing. You can find a year where there are exceptional number of, or seem to be exceptional number of tornadoes. But everybody, the key to it is the world is getting warmer faster than it's ever gotten in history. So climate change and global warming are the same thing. Global warming, more heat energy in the atmosphere is causing climates to change and extreme weather to get to increase, to more extreme weather events. These are all the same thing, pretending or being told by some of his advisors that these are different ideas is incorrect.
Can we argue this in terms of experience? I mean, for example, I grew up, well, I've been here for 47 years in Washington. It was a very predictable weather pattern. It was pretty cold in the winter. It snowed once in a while, not too much. They always were surprised by snow here. And then in the summer, starting in sometime like July, August, July was the worst month in the Farmer's Almanac, you felt like a big, wet, heavy wool blanket was thrown over your head when you get up in the morning after your shower. It's always been that way. Now it's not like that. The weather here the last 3 or 4 days has been spectacular. You can't predict it anymore.
Well, there's no question the world's getting warmer. There's no question weather patterns are changing. Just are we going to have the political will or the drive to do something about all the carbon dioxide and methane we're putting in the atmosphere and changing from a fossil fuel economy to a renewable energy economy? And so,
what will be the signs that are like biblical signs between now and 2050, say, where people say, stop denying? This is scary.
There's two things are happening. First of all, young people are very concerned about climate change. People of my generation and perhaps yours are where you're going to find climate change deniers. Once in a while, you meet a young person. And I believe the other side is very much aware of this. I have heard both Harris Faulkner and even Sean Hannity acknowledge that there's a political reason to embrace climate change, a political reason to have a position on climate change. And that is amazing because those people have heretofore, people on the other cable network have heretofore been in lockstep with the president and his advisors on climate change. And the cracks are starting to form. So come next election, the election after this one, all candidates are going to have a position on climate change. But the concern is it going to be soon enough? And so, I've been talking about this for over 20 years.
You're great.
And so the time to act is now.
You know what, Bill? The one thing that grabbed me was watching Apollo 11 the other night at a hotel. I was stuck at a hotel room after work one night alone, and I was watching that great documentary. And when the astronauts go around the moon and see the Earth, it's chilling because you realize how vulnerable we are. We're not the universe. We're just one place in the universe where we can survive. And it's got this wonderful blue-green shell around us. Not even a shell, just a film. And you realize that's us.
That's right.
If something happens to that, we're all gone.
So the big thing is the speed, everybody. It's not that we're all going to die in 12 years. It's just we're not going to be able to move our infrastructure, our seaports, our railroads and so on, and move our agriculture away from the equators fast enough to feed everybody as we get to be 9 and 10 billion unless we get to work. There's enormous opportunities. You know, I am always optimistic about this because tomorrow's the anniversary of D-Day, and it was, of course, there was tremendous loss and tremendous sacrifice. But it was part of this greater idea that we have a global problem and we're going to solve it. And I always respect that. You know, both of my parents are veterans.
Okay,
they're both at Arlington. And we can do this. It's the United States. And so things are changing.
Keep it up.
So we can do this, Chris.
You're our leader, Bill. You're our leader. Thank you so much. No, you are. Thank you,
Thank
Bill.
you.
And we had to have you on tonight. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Up next, the military and political teamwork that led to a great alliance of democratic nations 75 years ago on the cliffs of Normandy. You're watching Hardball.
Watching MSNBC International.
This is Milton, and Milton's been out here, and he's been standing in front of this police line only a foot or two away. The thing that caught my attention was you've been walking by hugging people.
All I ask is just for peace. Like Bob Marley said, one love. That's why I'm out here. I'm out here showing love and letting these guys and these men and women know that we support them. Just like our military. We support our military. It's just as simple as that. I'll stand out here. These are my brothers and sisters.
Quickly, New York, New Jersey, Statue of Liberty. Does it belong to Jersey or New York?
Oh, it's America's.
Well, those are fighting words, New York and New Jersey, but I'll let us discuss that privately.
Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce.
Billy Joel.
There you go, staying true to their home states. Mets, Yankees?
Yankees.
Yankees.
There you go.
Look at that.
There you
Look at
go.
that.
Bipartisanship. You think you'd never see it.
Where are we going after this? Want to hang out?
No, I don't go out.
I feel like this the biggest takeaway of my week here has been being with you.
How so?
Well, I don't know, man. This has been a treat. This has been so much fun. I feel like I learned journalism through you.
That's great. Do you want to say anything to the crowd? Say so.
I love Chris Matthews.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.